and Max Jan, but they tell the audience, the arena, where they're going next year. A couple of guys going to flight training. A couple of guys are going to be intelligence officers. These are the men, and obviously there are women here as well, that are going to be defending our nation, the best and the absolute brightest, and there may be a little communication gap. These five may have not been on the floor together at any time, even in practices. Moore lays it up and in a 2-0 start for Utah State.
Yeah, and Air Force normally does a good job of handling the basketball. And Jan back in the starting lineup. Terrific drive and a dish off, and Earls lays it in for the deuce.
So much better second possession for the Academy. Chris Smith penetrates outside. Perry for three. Excuse me, Perkins for three. And that didn't quite get there.
Well, this is a huge game for both teams when you talk about conference standings, conference play.
We're at the United States Air Force Academy. And for those who are watching BC, it's Utah State and Air Force just underway, a little more than a minute in. With Marty Fletcher, I'm Drew Goodman. This should be an evenly matched game the way Air Force has played at home. Winners of 4 straight. And one of the surprises in the Mountain West this year, Utah State picked 10th at the start of the year. They're right now in the top 5 in the conference. They've won 5 straight. There's Jan on a drive. Max Jan, the senior from San Antonio.
Not only shoots the ball well from downtown, but he can put the ball on his hip, goes down gut alley, and lays it off the glass. Great drive by Jan.
Entry pass, Colette, turnaround jumper. This kid's a redshirt freshman, a returning mission student, and he has tremendous upside, David Colette.
Well, he leads the conference in shooting percentage, and we just got a good look at it. He can make that little baby jump shot. Terrific moves to the basket, having an outstanding year. Colette.
Here's Jalen Moore running 1-on-2. He'll pull up. He can shoot it. Pretty stroke, under control, Marty.
Well, you just called it correctly. Under control, took what the defense gave him, semi-transition, pulls up, shoots the little baby jumper.
6'4" Aggies. Ball fake by Jan, goes down low to Earls. Inside, outside. Olashinsky from 3. Here's Chris Smith. Down the lane, offensive foul. Randy McCall, the lead official underneath, saw it the whole way, and it'll go over to Air Force.
Take a look at this. This is great defense by Trevor Lyons. The biggest play in basketball defensively, because you not only get possession, you put a foul on maybe their best player.
Colette overplaying that passing lane, denying that swing past Olashinsky. He has it now in the high post, off to Jan. Backdoor cut, and Hammonds is fouled from behind, and that's 2 on Smith. So an early big story, you alluded to it. You get an offensive foul at one end, and then you get ticketed at the other end, and he's already walking to the bench. He knows he's got to come out.
And here we have a terrific pass by Olashinsky. He squeezes it in through the defense. Boy, if Peyton Manning can make that pass, so can Olashinsky. Terrific bounce pass. Hammonds gets the foul, and as you called it, puts Smith on the bench with 2 early fouls.
And that's big. I mean, it happens at the 17:01 mark. We'll see how long he has to sit. Talking about a guy that's averaging 15 points a game over his last half dozen, shooting close to 60%. Hammonds goes 1 of 2 from the line. JoJo McGlaston replaced him, a sophomore. Very athletic wing player. McGlaston has it now.
Yeah, they don't lose much when they...
Perry has it now.
Yeah,
McGlaston's 24.
They don't lose much when they insert JoJo into the lineup. He gives Coach Moore a great lift off the bench.
And that's something McGlaston does well. He can lift. He's one of the great leapers that you'll see in college basketball. Colette loses it. Lyons off to Jan. And the rebound off to Moore. Colette leans in, no go. Olashinsky the rebound. Zach Coker's come on the floor.
And Coker has had a very good stretch. He replaced Yawn in the lineup, and now they're playing both guys together.
First time out, 15:50 to go first half. Aggies 6, Falcons 5. Early in our basketball game, Utah State leading by a point. Time to check out the Fletcher file. Marty, what do you have?
Well, for Utah State, play a little string music. All 5 starters are shooting over 50% over the last 5 games. And then Fear the Fro. We're going to go a little retro, and he does it justice. We're talking about Jalen Rose, and he's terrific. Air Force, of course, senior discount. We have senior, terrific job. They're going to have to come up big. And then, of course, point, counterpoint, the 2 freshman point guard. And I call him Jalen Rose. We know it's Jalen Moore.
And there he is in the middle of your picture. Just got voted by our friends at ESPN the best hair in college basketball. And at some point, Sean Harris will be in the game for Utah State. And chatted with Sean before the game. I said, were you upset? Because Sean has, there's Sean, got the box cut. Were you upset you didn't get that award? He said, no, I'm good as long as we kept it in the family.
Well, the fresh Bel Air Prince of Bel Air. He would get that award, but no. Jalen Moore with the great retro look. Fear the Fro.
Fear his game. He's a heck of a player. Jumper out of the corner does not go for Julian Perry. Here's Zach Coker. Hayden Graham's back on the floor. He's normally a starter, number 35. Lions cuts back door, nothing there.
Yeah, we have Air Force's regular starting 5.
Good looking move by Graham. That's his dominant hand, and he lays it in off the glass. Air Force takes a 1-point lead.
Outstanding drive by Graham. He slices, he dices, and he has the long reach, the elongated step, lays it in. They get right into their matchup zone where they'll pick up guys in a man-to-man situation, even though it's a zone.
Elston Jones on the floor for Utah State. He's replaced Colette. Lyons gives it off. Graham couldn't hit from point-blank range.
Terrific penetration by Lyons. And the easy dish, Graham just couldn't convert.
Off the McGlaston miss. Another rebound for Olashinsky. A lot of families in town, as we mentioned, for Air Force. And there is that story about controlling your emotions and how you handle your emotions. Coker for 3, leading 3-point shooter in the Mountain West Conference, as pure as you'll see.
Well, you're absolutely right. We've seen it happen both ways for seniors with the emotions involved. Coach Pilipovich started the 4 healthy seniors. They got to the first media timeout, and now they have the regular starting lineup. So
Air Force foul is caller number 35.
Well, Coker's been fantastic shooting the basketball, terrific from way downtown, and as you mentioned, leads the Mountain West Conference in 3-point shooting.
That was his 50th 3 of the year.
2 shots.
Julian Perry, good-looking freshman at the line. Julian from McKinney, Texas. Academic All-State player in the Lone Star State. Speaking of freshmen, 13 on the floor, Matt Mooney for Air Force as a freshman.
Yeah, we talked about at the opening, the 2-point guard system. Both have played very well, good basketball. Lyons averages 26 minutes, Mooney over 20 minutes. So combined, they average 14 points and over 4 assists a game.
I mentioned earlier, both of these schools will be really patient. They'll move the ball well. They'll work inside, outside. Shot clock down to 5. Earls, sweeping hook, no go. There's Grant, who's, as we've watched, he traveled. Grant is a better rebounder than you'd think just looking at the physique. I mean, he's 6'5", 195 pounds, still growing into his body, but he'll go get the basketball off the glass.
Yeah, very athletic. You get a good look. This guy can stand straight up and tie his shoes at the same time. That's the kind of reach he has, and it helps him on the glass.
Matt Mooney got the passing lane. Here's Sean Harris. Sean coming back with David Collette. Sean, a senior. Mentioned there were 6 seniors for Air Force being honored today. Not a whole lot of seniors for Utah State. Sean Harris is it.
Now we see Air Force jump into that man-to-man where they switch on all screens. And there's the guy that's having a fantastic season. The redshirt freshman Collette, that little baseline jump shot. Terrific shooting touch.
He is 6'8". You mentioned the long arms. Terrific looking player. Boy, they're playing a 2-man game, Coach, with not a whole lot of room there. You got 2 additional defenders with the baseline and the sideline.
That was the old overload play. I'm not sure that was part of the offense, but there we see Collette, and he has such tremendous ball skills, footwork, shooting ability.
And he shoots it at the apex of his jump, doesn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely does. And just has had a fantastic year.
Off balance shot, Mooney the rebound, Mooney the shot, Harris the rebound. He was fouled. Another timeout, 11:56 to go. We're tied at 10 at Clune Arena in Colorado Springs.
My Honda handled the cold really well. But when the time came for a new car, I decided to leave my Honda for a new Honda. The Honda Pilot's 4-wheel drive and CR-V all-wheel drive are both fantastic in the snow. And my CR-V's real-time all-wheel drive kicks in automatically when I need it. Great job, everyone!
Start something special with an all-wheel drive Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year, at your Honda dealer.
Welcome back to Clune Arena, Colorado Springs, the grounds of the United States Air Force Academy. This is Marty Fletcher. I'm Drew Goodman. This is a good matchup because both of these schools are playing their best basketball, as you said off the top, right now. Utah State has won 5 straight, and Air Force has won 4 straight at home. Overall, they've won 5 of 8.
Well, and it's a very, very important game. Utah State wants to continue that momentum to build and get as high in the standings as possible. Air Force is trying to play out of that first round game where the last 4 have to play. So they're going to have to run out, win this game, and then they go to Fresno State. And, of course, Utah State is a real threat going into that conference tournament the way they're playing.
Oh, absolutely. It's really going to be interesting in Las Vegas. Boise State's playing great basketball. San Diego State we know about. Colorado State we know about. And a lot of contact from behind. Who's going to get the foul? I think it's going to go against Zach Moore, who just checked in, 41. Yeah, he never got set.
Yeah, excellent move. The old Euro step slide, and as you mentioned, did not get set. So therefore, you have a blocking foul, and Perry goes to the line.
So Perry's 4-4 in the early going from the line, and it's a 12-10 Aggies lead. Earlier this year in Logan, a 13-point win for Utah State over Air Force. Pretty close game until midway in the second half, and Utah State pulled away.
Well, we know the Aggies have a great home court advantage. They've done such a terrific job over the years, and they're a tough out when you go to Aggie land and try to play them on their home court. So we have a situation where Air Force is establishing that home court advantage. And as we mentioned, for the first time since 2010-11, they've won 4 straight at home in conference play.
That'll stay with Air Force. 17 on the shot clock for the Falcons. That's Tim Duryea. And the reason we're showing Tim, he's been with Stu Morrill forever. It goes back to his days in Fort Collins, 8 years for Stu Morrill as the head coach at Colorado State. Duryea's been there every step of the way, and he's already been interviewed for the head coaching job at Utah State. Because obviously, as we talked about, Stu Morrill's leaving at the conclusion of this season after 17 years in Logan, 29 years overall, one of the winningest coaches in college basketball. And I hope Tim Duryea gets a good, long, hard, and honest look from Utah State. He deserves the opportunity, and it would help with continuity because they have a great nucleus coming back next year.
Well, let me put the AD's hat on. Hire the man, no question about it. I mean, you talk about what a program they've built here at Utah State, and you mentioned it. The transition becomes so smooth. They have outstanding young players.
It's good coaching staff overall. Julian Perry, he knocks one down from three-point range, 15-10. So the biggest separation earlier in this game. And again, that shot clock getting down close to the single digits. Coker. And Hayden Graham, what a rebound and a putback. What a play by Hayden Graham, the sophomore from Austin.
They do call him the Fly Boys for a reason. He was flying in the air for that rebound. Captured it and laid it in all in the same motion.
McGlaston off the dribble with a response. JoJo McGlaston.
And of course, Utah State is also playing a similar matchup zone. They'll try to get out on the shooters, put ball pressure on the dribbler.
Mooney, three-point range extended, halfway down, and this one will be on Earls. It'll be his second.
Air Force foul is called number 21, Dale Earls. That's his second.
Well, Earls gives them a physical presence. We've seen him mixing up inside. It's an important cog that he brings to the table. So he picks up a second foul, and he'll have to go sit.
Yep, Earls goes out along with Mooney. Trevor Lyons and Max Jan back in. 17-12 Utah State, they have the basketball.
You talked about patience. Utah State known for their half-court sets, their half-court offense, as well as Air Force running their spread, that Princeton style.
Chris Smith, after sitting coach for more than 10 minutes, is back on the floor. He has 2 fouls. That's number 34 in blue. Jalen Moore. 6 for Moore. He had 16 in their last victory over UNLV, and that's about what he averages.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Some coaches will sit a guy when he picks up 2 fouls for the entire first half. Coach Morrill believes that Smith will be able to play without picking up that 3rd foul, so he inserts him back into the lineup.
There's a steal by Perkins for a moment, or Perry by a moment. It comes back to Coker. 5 to shoot it. Crowd's trying to help out. Coker has it rejected. Air Force will have 2 to get one elevated.
Well, we just saw an outstanding shot block. Utah State leads the conference in block shots, ranked nationally. I think it's 11th overall. So they'll go up there and swat it away, and that was a great shot block.
And it's interesting because they don't have a true big man. Lyons gets it off and knocks it down. How about that?
That's called the old late in the shot clock offense. Get it, chuck it up, and knock it down, and the Lions does a great job.
And it's huge because otherwise Utah State's heading up the floor, up 7 already. McGlaston is bumped. (19-15) Utah State after the Trevor Lyons desperation 3.
Mouths are watering, lemons are squeezing, and stomachs are growling. Or is that just me? Every minute between you and Red Lobster's Lobster Fest feels like an eternity. And who could blame you for craving our largest variety of succulent lobster dishes all year? Dishes like dueling lobster tails, with one tail topped with creamy shrimp and a second tail stuffed with tender crab. I was hungry already, and now you show me lobster lover's dream? Let's make this dream a reality. A delicious, delicious reality. But one that won't last forever, so hurry in.
You know, I was going to bring my Falcon to the game tonight, but
Well,
I didn't think he'd travel well.
I want to see you handle that Falcon. That guy has some claws.
Two schools that shoot it well from downtown. Utah State better than 40%, and in conference play, they're shooting 48% overall and 45% from three-point range. So they have really picked it up. And I want to point something out again. You mentioned this earlier. Utah State was picked in the 11-team Mountain West to finish 10th in the preseason. They're in the top 5 in the conference.
Incredible job by Coach Moore on his last season. As we mentioned, he announced his retirement.
He also said this is a great group to go out with. He said because they've been very enjoyable, not just the success now they've had in the conference, but they've been a very enjoyable group to be around. So I got a great group of kids.
Well, and they're playing terrific basketball.
Moore looked to get the foul, didn't. He said, "Where's my and one?"
Hello.
That was a great looking move by Moore. He's got 8 to lead Utah State early. 21-15.
And what is impressive for a young player, he lets the game come to him. He doesn't force it, although you might have said that shot was a little bit forced. But he's a terrific player.
Zach Coker, a terrific three-point shooter, has his second of the game.
Yeah, right on time. Talking about the three-point shooting, Coker loves to visit a little town we like to call Trainville, and he is hot.
McGlaston, and the long rebound to Sean Harris. Chris Smith looking back, kind of like they do at the line of scrimmage now in college football. They line up and then they look to the coaching staff. That's what he did about halfway through that possession. Trevor Lyons penetrates, kick to the corner. Coker all day, maybe too much time. A rare miss for Coker.
Yeah, he had so much time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say he's hit 19 of his last 28.
And that was probably the most open he's been. But he did hesitate. He didn't shoot it in rhythm. Therefore, he misses the three.
Coaches hate that too, don't you? When you go, okay, don't leave 5 from three-point range, and all of a sudden he's so wide open it would take 5 minutes and a cab ride to get there.
Well, as you mentioned, he's been so hot. Sometimes the old walk-away defense, let him shoot it. Sometimes they'll think about it too much and miss it. That wasn't the intention, but it played out that way.
Max Jan. Good hands by Graham. He had it rejected by Collette, who's one of the leading shot blockers in the Mountain West. Collette got, well, I was going to say he got away with the push. No, he didn't. The whistle came. Here's Collette defensively.
Great timing. And then the other end, he got his hand caught in the cookie jar. He just gave him a little nudge to get that offensive rebound.
Not subtle enough. Aggies by 3. Olashinsky's been pretty quiet. He fires a 3 there. Myrick without a point so far. He averages better than 10 a game. Coming off an 18-point effort against Nevada.
Yeah, he's had his best scoring games during this winning streak at home for the Academy. They'll need to knock down some shots.
Collette the block. Lyons dives the post. Boy, he's strong and he's long over Hayden Graham. Collette with a half dozen.
Excellent hesitation on that drop step. But we talked about his skill set, the footwork, tremendous drop step, go strong to the basket, hesitate a little bit, and kiss it off the glass.
Air Force moving the ball around 23 feet, and that's what they settle for. Olashinsky gets the rebound.
The further the shot is taken, the further sometimes rebounds come out. So Utah State, if they're going to be successful on the glass, they got to get those long rebounds.
Finally, an entry pass from Hayden Graham. Missed a little baby turnaround. Stu Morrill calls a timeout. Utah State is defending Air Force very well, Marty.
Yeah, they're doing a terrific job in their zone. They're taking away the inside. Here's Collette. This is one of the reasons why they were picked 10th. They didn't know about Collette and how good he is. I mean, he has had really an all-conference type of year. Freshman of the year, he should hands down win that award. He's just been outstanding.
13 points, better than 5 rebounds, almost 2 blocks. Stu Morrill, the end of an era, it really is. Stu's won more than 600 games in 29 seasons, over 400 at Utah State. It's a very select group that's won 400 at one place. And I said 8 years, I meant 7 earlier in Fort Collins. He has a lot of family in attendance today because he has 3 kids that live in Colorado, 1 in Denver, 2 up in Fort Collins. He's got grandkids that are here this afternoon.
Well, you mentioned 7 great years at Colorado State. The gentle gentleman, he is a fantastic coach and a true gentleman.
Here's Chris Smith driving and contact, no whistle. Fortune for Smith because he's playing with 2 fouls. Tap that, and it goes home for Sean Harris off the Moore miss. 25-18, 7-point lead for the Aggies again.
Excellent board work by Harris. I don't know if he hit it with his hand or at the top of the throw. That's a high riser. I called him the fresh Bel Air Prince now. That was a good call by the old coach.
Yeah, Poker for 3, that's short, and Harris at the other end with a rebound. Inside, 3:40 to play. Air Force down by 7 on their home floor, where again they've won 4 straight. And overall, they're 11-4 this year at Clune Arena. Smith, high riser. You talk about on guys who can go get the ball off the glass. He really elevates on his jump shot. First hoop for Smith, who's a tremendous 3-point shooter.
No, he really is, and that's difficult to elevate that high on a 3-point shot. That's why he's been so effective. He shoots the same way, whether it's 4 feet or 25 feet.
And now a turnover and a foul by Hammonds. A little frustration being exhibited for Air Force. They're out of rhythm, and a lot of that has to do with Utah State. Aggies are up 10 on the road.
Mark's down in our Root Sports studios in Denver. Hey, coming up at the half, you know, it's not always the best team, the team with the best record, that wins the conference tournament. We'll tell you why the Air Force Falcons could be reckoned with when they head to Vegas in a couple of weeks. We head back to Clune Arena now, guys.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. It's a 10-point lead for Utah State, 28-18. They've kind of methodically done it with some 3-point shooting and very stingy defense. They have not allowed Air Force to get the ball inside, and they've defended the 3-point line very well. They've contested just about every 3-point shot.
Well, they only allow teams to shoot 39% from the floor, which is outstanding, and only 30% from the 3-point line. So you're absolutely correct. They switch between man-to-man and zone. It's very sticky. They've done a great job defensively. And on the offensive end, it's just execution. This is what this team does. They execute in the half court. Jalen Moore is just under control and making play after play. Terrific job by Utah State.
Well, Air Force is 7 of 25, 28% from the floor. As Perkins calls timeout, he couldn't get it in. And Utah State 11 of 22, hitting half their shots.
I'm not sure that was the set out of bounds play that Utah State likes to run. They had 3 or 4 guys run all the way back to the backcourt. So they were left with no receiver. They called the timeout so they could save the possession.
I know Utah State, interestingly, was concerned about this game. And Marty, put your old coach's hat on. You're going into a gymnasium where Your opponents played very well, and oh, by the way, it's senior day, and on top of that, it's an academy, which makes it that much more special. And they were really concerned how their kids would react, but they've reacted very well.
They really have. And also, let's not forget, it was a noon tip-off. Now, the academy, these guys have put in a full day by noon.
Right.
But you don't play a lot of games at noon. I'm not sure if Utah State's played any. So you're absolutely right. They're very concerned about that, plus the fact the Air Force is playing well.
Perry, wild shot, and it goes in. Julian Perry with 9 here in the first half. The freshman who averages about 6 a game. 12-point Utah State lead. Air Force got to make a bit of a move here in the final 2:20. Not a high-volume scoring team. They're going to raise huge deficits. That's a good start. Max Jan.
That is the way you get back in the ball game, by attacking the basket. Jan, terrific dribble drive. He leans, he goes with the scoop shot.
Moore cut off. Good defense by Lyons. That causes a turnover. Could be a run out. Coker will have it rejected. What a recovery by McGlaston.
That was just outstanding shot block.
That was an extraordinary play because he defended Lyons, forced the pass, and then came over and made the block.
Yeah, Air Force did everything right on that transition. Nice dish off. Lyons made the right decision. It was just a great recovery block shot by JoJo.
McGlaston with 7 on the shot clock. Perkins out of the corner, and Olashinsky had it for a moment. Finally comes down to Jan. 2-on-2. Jan leans in, a foul. And it was a block, not a charge.
Yeah, good decision. Instead of giving the ball up, Jan attacked the outside shoulder of the defender and absolutely created the foul and the block call.
Max Jan on the line for 2 shots.
Max decided to forget about dishing it off because we're tired of the shot blocks.
Number 13, Matt Mooney.
Mooney's going to come in for Coker here in the final 107. Or at least on this defensive possession. And Jan gets 1 of 2. 9-point game.
Yeah, the Air Force coach is saying we need to stop. That's why he puts Mooney in for Coker.
McGlaston all alone, 3-ball. And the rebound again popped away from Olashinsky. It was Sean Harris doing the dirty work. And a timeout called by Dave Pilipovich.
Subtle move, but we saw Coach Davey P insert Mahoney into the lineup for defensive purposes for Coker. Just the one possession.
Right.
How big a play? Well, they come up with the stop, the rebound, and now they'll try to get this margin down to 7 or 6 if they can make it 3. So terrific defensive play by the academy, but it starts with the coaching move by Coach Pilipovich.
And there's 11 seconds, the differential between the game clock and the shot clock. 30-21. th meeting all time between these schools. Not a lot of history because they didn't play in the same conference. Utah State was in the WAC where they absolutely dominated. I mean, you just write them in ink to go to the NCAA tournament every year. And then they moved to the Mountain West a couple of years ago, and it's a big jump. We were talking about that the other night with Nevada, and Utah State is making that transition. Though last year they were under 500 in conference play. So here we go for Air Force. See what they get. Olashinsky in pretty deep. Jump hook is off. And Perkins on the floor is tied up. Possession arrow goes to Utah State. 25 seconds left. So the Aggies will have it. 9-point lead. They can wind that clock down if they like.
Yeah, they'll hold it for the last shot. That was a good possession. Air Force made a nice drive to the basket. Olashinsky just came up a little short on the jump hook.
And he has not scored in the first half. Oleszynski is 0 for 3. He does have 5 rebounds. We're talking about the second leading scorer for Air Force. It's interesting how both schools like to use their bigs to reverse the basketball.
Well, absolutely. And when you talk about Collette and Moore being your bigs, they can really handle the ball, and they're terrific at passing.
Moore's got to fire one up from 3-point range, and that will do it for the first 20 minutes. So on senior day at the United States Air Force Academy, it's the Aggies of Utah State leading by 9, trying to win their 6th consecutive game. 30-21 Utah State as we go to our Denver studios at Markstad. Mark?
All right, Drew, the Aggies, they are 10-5 in conference play. Of course, Air Force 6-10. They played well at home. But when we come back here at the half, we're going to talk about why the Falcons think that come Mountain West Conference tournament time, they could be a team to be reckoned with. They're disciplined, they're well coached, they're flying under the radar. That's the story we have coming up here at the half.